we're about to conclude. Tapi I ada satu soalan untuk Puan Zulaikha pada pandangan Puan Zulaikha. Kenapa ramai budak perempuan suka tengok cerita ni?
Okay, kenapa ramai budak perempuan suka tengok cerita ni?
Saya pun tak faham juga sampai sekarang.
Saya pun tak faham. Kenapa kat sini ramai kru perempuan kan?
Soalnya kalau bos perempuan, kita orang memang ramai perempuan.
Right. Alah, I tak aci. Okay, dia macam ni. Okay, again, because we are also we're trying to kejar rates juga. Okay, but in the same time pushing away. Ya, tak ada. Betul, ratings okay. Rates lain cerita dia. Rates lain bro, lain.
Production talk. I got you. Okay. Even though it's salah term, I still understood what you want to say.
Okay, so benda-benda yang shallow yang kita orang terpaksa masukkan. Bukan terpaksa lah. We are happy to do that juga sebenarnya. Making sure that there's okay, sebab kita orang punya pelakon, ramai pelakon baru. Okay, the reason why kita orang ramai pelakon baru because tak ramai pelakon dekat Malaysia ni yang boleh main sebagai lepas budak sekolah. Okay, and percaya, and it's believable, right? You want to watch something and it's easier when you shape a character and this character tak pernah tengok, dia tak pernah main berlakon bapa orang ke husband orang, whatever lah. Okay, so that's why we have new cast. Of course, these new cast are, they are good looking in their own different ways. And I think sebenarnya, kalau first tengok poster, perempuan tengok and mungkin macam best je. Maybe because they all kind of look good, like as a team. Faham tak? Biasanya kita selalu berjumpa kita jual pelakon-pelakon perempuan yang cantik. So we're doing terbalik. We're trying to, tunjuk there's also good looking lelaki Melayu kat Malaysia ni. Very important.
Sorry, I couldn't add. The question is not for me, tapi girls, our age group demographic are curious. They're very curious about the group of men. And then kan cerita asrama, they're very curious bila asrama lelaki macam mana. They're very curious. So many curiosity. So it's a bonus, double Grammy bonus about the eye candy thingy kan. So itu, dia bukan di budak je, sampai mak budak semua nak tengok. Alright, so it's clear. But you have to admit that their curiosity tu is also the end. Ada a group of girls yang kata boyfriend saya pun problem macam tu. So ingatkan nak tahu macam mana nak settle. Faham tak? So sebenarnya girls will always find a way to find solution in their own way, and they love the mode of drama. Tak payah baca, nothing scientific about it, ke apa ke. So this is one of the reason why banyak benda. Kalau sebab I pernah tanya dulu zaman Sex and the City, why orang tengok, every women cakap they want to learn something from it. So I always keep that as a point.
Definitely. I think that is very good point juga. Sebab the thing is, so benda pertama yang kita jual, marketing. It's just visual, right? So visual, first time you tengok. And then after that, bila you buka, that is when it's very important in the first scene itself. It is you see, what is it, budak ni kena bantai dengan abang dia. And then after that, you see the father is like that. So these are the things that kita, in a way, you want people to first, cerita apa? Oh, good looking guys. Bukan. So that's what dia kata. People tengok benda ni tak expect untuk nangis. So kenapa perempuan, I rasa sebenarnya perempuan tengok first mula-mula, nampak macam best je, good looking guys. And then after that, oh my god, bukan cerita cinta, tapi bukan cerita cinta yang buat I nangis. Sebab I think we like, right?
Imagine, because that's very important lah, because we know what we want to say out of the series, and it's very important for us untuk make sure as many people as we are possible, we are capable of to actually watch it, to get apa kita nak cakap. And how do we do that? Bayangkan kalau macam in the trailers, and even in the pitch, I just cakap, cerita ni pasal toxic masculinity.
Dia macam question it terus, what is that? And maybe orang
so this is where the fly trap elements are lah, I guess. Yeah.
It's a family movie, right? It's a family series, right?
It is.
18 and above dia tulis.
Ya, betul. It's 18 and above lah. So sebenarnya I myself don't let my kids watch. So I don't know what these parents are doing.
Sebab
it's not meant for them. It's not. Walaupun it's about teenagers.
Even okay, how old are your kids? The oldest.
My eldest is 9.
9. Even with like parental commentary kat tepi macam adik tengok ni salah okay, ataupun like you do reflection after watching it. Because that's my job now with the kids, right? With my students, like okay, you watch High Council, okay, let's talk about it because I don't want you to just watch it and walk away with not reflecting on it.
So itu pun tak boleh.
Apa dia?
Kalau you tonton secara aktif.
Even as the creator, I don't do that. Like macam my kids, for example, my eldest hafal semua nama characters, project, anchor SPM. But unfortunately, this is the unfortunate part. Unfortunately, all their exposure to High Council is not through Astro. It's through TikTok. All the haram things where people rip from Astro and then re-upload.
No man, my boy he's 3. But he, because kita orang akan pasal kat TV, nak tengok kan. Now he knows who's Fakri, Kaha and stuff like that. But what he doesn't understand what it is that he really likes the song. So for budak-budak macam dia, it's just it's exciting, you know. So for me, I think betul there's nothing wrong with kalau you want to let your kids tengok. But again, if you don't walk away with it. Don't let the kids walk away with it and just assume whatever they want to assume, right? Our job here is to, okay, you tengok, let's talk about it. Be a friend, be that friend. I tak tahu macam mana, but try to be that friend who at least, like you said, you know, ramai budak, they talk to their peers rather than parents. So we cannot expect their peers to be able to educate dia, kan? So biar tengok kita better lah daripada tengok kawan-kawan. I rasa, yeah.
That's true also.
I mean, I can already think of like a bunch of lessons that I can now lesson plan with like Projek High Council as a tema. You know, like
Oh my
just
god,
go
you
fast
punya
together.
critical thinking tu dalam tulisan hot tau tak?
Yeah, betul. Okay.
Yeah, you know, too high. You know?
So I do for the educators, you tolong buat for the parents, you know, so guidelines
Wait, I
or
got a question
guiding
lah.
questions.
Why tak ada mat surau dalam ni?
Mat surau. Oh, we're trying to keep it quite non-religious apa semua sebab we're trying to appeal because macam honestly there is a lot of things that could be answered through religion, but somehow, well, at least that's the popular opinion lah.
Actually, I was hoping yang waktu gaduh-gaduh tu ada yang pakai kopiah, you know. That's all. Tak ada lah elemen tu, but ada pakai kopiah ke.
No, I think it's very ni pun it was very intentional that although ramai orang, the popular opinion is macam science and religion don't mix, but actually it can. Tapi we try to keep it quite clear that Projek High Council, we're trying to go scientific. So that's why we quote literature, we quote science, sociological, anthropological punya research.
Which is menarik because just this morning I was just thinking about the first episode that I watched. And I remember the part where dia macam Azam was telling her, this is what you do, this is your routine. Pergi surau, pergi surau 5 kali. And my reflection of that was like, diorang ni sembahyang 5 waktu sehari pun masih nakal ke? That was my thought, you know.
Right.
Jahat ke?
I mean that's what I got. Right? Like, the intention for that was just to like part of my personal intention voluntarily somehow, tak tahu kenapa, because this is what Ariff cakap lah, is to relieve my trauma, and the routine was the trauma. Yeah, and when a clip of that routine went out on Twitter, it blew up. Like semua orang, they don't even know cerita apa ni, tapi the fact that it's just showing them their routine masa dia orang kat asrama tu, dia macam, yo, I feel hurt. Yo, I don't know how I survive, but you know what? Yeah, I feel hurt. Yeah.
But also untuk budak-budak macam yang mention kan, ada budak-budak yang tak tahu boyfriend pergi sekolah asrama, don't know how it's for us to, it's relatable. Macam, oh, this is what you went through. So dia macam, okay, this is what it is like, this is their life and it's grounded. For orang yang tak pernah pergi asrama, tengok benda tu pun and just go, man, macam mana korang boleh, macam mana tu? Basically just macam mana tu, itu.
Okay, so we've kupas Projek High Council quite a bit, and we talk about how, you know, High Council, if we were to really look into it, ada banyak tema-tema yang berbeza of it, and even if you watch like TikTok clips of it, you take away something different from it. So to answer lah, semua orang akan dapat masa masing-masing untuk jawab. To answer the big question of this conversation, who is shaping who? Adakah media membentuk masyarakat atau masyarakat membentuk media? Siapa nak jawab angkat tangan? Okay, siapa?
Awesome.
I'll go. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's mutually exclusive at all. I think it's a cycle. art imitates life, life imitates art. But I am a firm believer of the bravery to speak out lah, the bravery to show things the way they are, so that you can have discussions about it. So yeah, I think it's not exactly mutually exclusive.
I would echo that by saying that the conversation that we create itu yang sebenarnya ilmu. And I see that to have that as a conversation, maknanya dia kan, imagine lah kalau dulu ada TV 1, 2, 3 je kan, and then everybody tengok, and then it's so easy that buat tu sebab semua orang tengok. So this one dah ada macam rumah dia astro ke tak, kadang-kadang nak tanya tu pun macam degrading sikit tau, macam aku tak ada duit nak ada astro kan, dah sedih. But even that pun dia orang boleh tengok Twitter and all that kan, and they still have a conversation untuk ilmu itu. I think itu yang membentuk that, because different group, different setting, different community have different understanding, different race, different language use pun different understanding. Tapi mana yang baik they want to take out of it. So sebenarnya whichever yang bentuk, tak, to me kalau poster tu alone create conversations, itu pun to me is a kejayaan.
I think for me, apa yang kita nampak kat media tu is a reflection to what actually is happening in the current society. So betul apa yang you tengok, macam you cakap drama abusive husband and stuff like that. Kenapa benda tu ada? Sebab benda tu actually happen. Kenapa benda tu ada dan popular? Ya, betul. Sebab benda tu relatable. Benda tu ramai dalam society kita that is actually going through that. So I think dia betul. Dia, I rasa it's macam orang kata, it's a whole cycle juga. Dia dua-dua. Dia tak siapa membentuk siapa. I rasa media terjadinya content yang dalam media tu is because what the society is going through. And so it's a whole time cycle. It's a whole time cycle lah. Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah, okay, let's try mic balik. This is not my day for the mics. I don't know. But I do agree. Like, it is a cycle. Media allows us to get these new ideas, but it also feeds into like what we believe, what is like, not what is like, that's too like philosophical, but like macam what do we hold dear to ourselves as like people of society, but it's also like a reflection, and sometimes it's a mixture of both. It's a really hard question to answer because these things are happening, but are we putting certain parts like into the story itself that makes it like people get more ideas to do worse things or better things, or are people able to actually analyze this, like what we were like talking about earlier, like are people actually able to analyze the media that we are consuming so that they could actually take something positive or just have a conversation and like see like, okay, this is what's happening, what's the next step, like how do you move forward with this? And I really think at the end of the day, everyone brought out like solid points of how the whole media, it's like a cycle. It's a media cycle, essentially. We consume and the media is based on us, but sometimes they add a bit here and there. But it's really important that when we make this content, even though I am like nowhere near the content creation space, but to take up voices of people who are not heard about, while it is a cycle, we can amplify the voices that are there so that we can create these new values. So like, let's say there are not enough stories about the refugee community and that kind of thing. We can talk more about that, create more stories about that, so that in the end, these conversations happen and people empathize, and then macam maybe in the future tiba-tiba end up in parliament so that people can have more empathy. Because taking refugee, for example, we don't have enough empathy for them. We just see them like, oh, they're taking resources and that kind of thing.
Okay, last. If there's no restrictions, nothing, no worry about ratings and all that, what would be your preferred issues to talk about in your next show for everybody? Imagine now you guys are all, you can create your own
Right, so
show.
personally, I think I just say it here because toxic masculinity has always been something that I wanted to explore. And sebenarnya, the story of which through I was thinking of exploring sebenarnya was through the UPNM case. Yeah, which interesting enough, one of those convicted is High Council at a certain school. Yeah, so but then it will get complicated lah. But at the time it was an ongoing case, and then there are still surviving family members which technicalities lah, but we have to get life rights to apa semua. So it will be that lah, and then no holds barred. But at the same time, I am also a believer of macam mana I believe it or not, and the guy who made High Council, believe it or not, I have my own LPF. I know what is too much. What would make because we want to go uncomfortable, but we don't want to. Okay, I think my motto is my production house is called Pasal Productions, because my motto is cari pasal jangan ajak gaduh. So that is where my philosophy comes when it comes to LPF lah. When it comes to censorship, cari pasal. Enough. Jangan sampai level ajak gaduh. There's certain things you just go to ajak gaduh lah. Yeah. So I don't go there lah.
Okay.
Saya setuju. I have nothing. No, betul-betul.
If you could create any show, would you what would be the issues that you would ketengahkan?
Yeah, it has something to do with mental illness. So for me, definitely, I am very curious about that. I feel that there is something that I want to understand more untuk diri I, and hoping that for me, by me trying to learn more about that, is also part of the stuff that I want to put inside the series.
Azmi?
Oh, okay.
You will have so many stories,
Okay, apa?
Okay,
Nak
so-
cerita siapa?
Saya patut interview awak lepas ni.
As a court advisor for children, my job is menentukan budak-budak masuk jail ke tak. That's my job. So it's very heartbreaking sebenarnya, because when I say masuk jail 3 tahun, that's my job, and these are children. So, but there is this one element yang Malaysia tak pernah try atau nak try called restorative justice, meaning that outside the jurisdiction system, outside police, there's so many other ways, and I have tried so many other ways kat luar dengan imam ke, dengan ahli sukan ke apa ke, to help these kids yang dah buat salah tapi tak masuk sistem, maknanya dia tak masuk report polis. So I wanted to showcase atau give ideas that we don't give up yet. There are ways where community can help to bring back these kids. Kadang-kadang dia tak tahu pun tu buat salah. Especially high school sweethearts, rape victims kan, yang mana suka sama suka ni. So, and every time masuk, memang masuk jail atau Henry Gani 3 years. Automatic. So, and every time jumpa diorang kat Henry Gani kapal, I rasa sedih sangat lah, because they are good people. Tapi because they fall in love, So now we are trying to get that one out, called diversions and restorative justice. So of course, all of these ideas, and I have to admit, I learned all this based on experience and also by writers like them. I learned every single word to use to cabinet couple, all from this, because we don't have enough reading material. So that would be my one thing, to show that Malaysians actually do help Malaysians in their own way. Sebenarnya tak payah nak tunggu system to take away. I don't believe in making the system to give us the solution. But once it's piloted by us, public and betul, then the government can take that as the way of doing things. And I tak nak dengar ikut Finland, ikut Japan. I tak boleh dengar tu dah. So I need Malaysians to help. Maybe that's the kind of show I would do. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, why is it berat for you? I understand, of course, it's berat to send kids to prisons and stuff like that, right? But why is it berat for you to do that?
Because honestly, I love my sekolah Henry Gani. They have most A's dalam SPM semua kan. I love my prison for Juvana semua tu, because when they come out, I get to see them again. Tapi I think there's a better way of rehabilitation for our children. And they have more potential instead of becoming just macam senyap aja macam tu tau. So they change, So I know they will change, and I just wanted, and the reason why tu I punya ayat selalunya, children to make better choices. That's why I buat movement of cerita orang gagal. We do a lot of examples to show that selagi you belum 18, you buat salah, you tak kira salah. And there is a lot of other ways. So, including case yang macam liwat ke rape ke macam tu kan, I would never want them to think, I'm a victim, I cannot move anymore from here. Tak boleh. Because they have potential. So, I rasa sedih because I know that is not the best we could do yet. We could do better. Jadi that's why I rasa sedih. And I normally tak tengok muka when we say it to the judge, and then the judge will say it out loud. But bila tengah dalam lockup, before they go to, because dia punya automatic bila dalam court tu dia pakai baju macam ni, tiba-tiba okay, you mengaku salah, masuk jail. Dia automatically terus, bukan dia balik rumah bawa baju jumpa mak, tak ada. So kalau mak bapak you tak datang, habis that is the last. So, and I jumpa dia kat cell lockup tu sekejap. Do you understand what's happening? Ni kan. That is the wailing and everything happens there. I will take care of your mother, your brother, semua tu, itu kerja I. And then, but all this part of what I'm doing and what other people like me doing need to be out there. So that parents pun tahu boleh cakap macam tu. Ini dah lah tak datang, and then susah.
I mean, this
you're right.
yeah. This is potentially going to be dikupas dalam our next episode, Natasha. Because you know, when we talk about rehabilitation center or like sekolah dalam penjara, when we let police officers take care of our children, then they will take care of our children like they take care of banduan. Sebab that's how they know how to do it. And that's why when it comes to children, who should be taking care of them? Child experts, teachers, educators.
Tapi tu yang surprisingly, I have to admit to say here lah, macam sekolah Henry Geni ada 3 kat Malaysia, so insyaAllah ada 4, tapi sekarang ada 3.
So they all call Henry Geni?
3. So 3 tu ada satu kat Sabah, satu kat Sarawak, satu kat Melaka.
Semua by the name Henry Geni?
Sekolah Henry Geni.
Oh, I see.
Interesting lah. And but the thing is, over the years, dulu I macam tu tau Lina, I totally opposed of all this kan. Tapi kan, and then you get to go closer lah. Bila dia orang keluar, we bawa dia bagi kerja, and then so Henry Geni now nampak kita macam tu juga. You know, so we can improve it. I lagi kesian dalam institusi yang langsung tak boleh pergi sekolah. Macam JKM, you masuk, you tak boleh pergi sekolah. Tu lagi tak baik. Okay, so and lagi tak pergi sekolah, lagi I datang. Because where else do you have this education? And kat situ dia orang tak ada TV, tak ada apa. So kita ceritalah High School Council, cerita dia macam ni. My job is to cerita movie apa Abang Syed tengok hari ini. That was what I do. And I tell them stories and all that kan. And they ask questions. I think that's what I...
Okay, nantikan jemputan untuk episod kedua. Ariff, if you could make any shows in the world, what kind of show would you make?
Oh, this is so hard because I don't feel like I've lived enough to tell much.
But you're so passionate.
The fact that you're aware of that is
that's a story in itself.
Yeah, okay.
I think I would just want to focus more about everyday high school life, like because all of my friends are from different schools. Like even when I was in boarding school, I talked a lot to people who weren't in my school, and their experiences are very different. I would just love a show that like focused on like 4 different teens from different schools, different backgrounds, and the challenges from day-to-day life. Another thing is just like the expectations of being a student, especially if you're like a high achiever, burnout, like that kind of thing that's not really talked about. It stresses me out every day. I remember being so stressed out for like my SPM results the other day that I almost vomited in the car. Like that was how bad it was. Like in my result, in the end, it was like an unfounded, like because you just don't want to be a failure. You don't want to disappoint people when you when so many people like rely on you. So many people are putting their hopes on you, and that kind of thing. I don't know. It's just like I feel like that could be a story that I want to tell, but that is like one story. Another story could be, sorry, I'm just like brainstorming at this point.
You're pitching to us.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody is pitching to us. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Another story that I feel like we should talk more about is about, so like in BGCK we like teach undocumented children or like stateless children. So I wish there was a TV show, maybe even fiction rather than documentary, that takes us through like day-to-day lives, their struggles as like being stateless, the like parts in life where they cannot access, they cannot get formal education. And I feel like people don't realize the severity of that. And the final part would just be climate anxiety. Climate change is gonna kill us all. So I would...
The world is burning down anyway, so...
Yeah, the world is burning down.
Let us tell the stories. Okay.
Exactly.
Wait.
Yeah.
Having said that, I would do stories on embracing failures. Itu my favourite topic. Embracing failures. Kan? And the other one is, I hear you, Ariff, nak cerita pasal the life of the underprivileged and deprived. But I wanted the other side. I wanted the success of them being in that situation tapi still boleh hidup. Faham tak? Macam the other side. Macam dia kata susah semua. I don't want the bersamamu. I want the other one.
I want like a story like
setelah bersamamu.
And not like a sob story. You know, like something empowering.
If dia kata, I duduk kat pondok buruk tak ada tandas for 10 years. Wow, how can you live without tandas? I want that.
Okay, I pun nak jawab juga soalan ni. Kalau lah I boleh buat satu show, and tak ada censorship semua tu, ada 3 tema besar which we call 3R, race, religion, royalty. Alright, itulah yang I akan buat, okay? Alright, so we're at the end of our first ever episode. I don't know how many parts this is, but I just wanted to reiterate something that Arus believes in, is that we believe that, it takes a village to raise a child. And everybody, with or without a child, if you're part of the community, part of the village, you are responsible in raising them. So in the messages that we send out and things that we say, in the product that we create in our job, it shapes our child in some way or another. And I want to thank all of you. Terima kasih banyak-banyak kerana meluangkan masa dengan kami di Arus, in our humble space. Kalau ada siapa-siapa ada isu seterusnya yang nak dikongsikan ataupun nak kita bincang, boleh kongsikanlah dekat social media kami. Betul tak, Natasha? Itu kan message dia? Alright. Okay. That's all. Thank you guys.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Panas.